How to prevent obesity and diabetes, part 3, how to increase sense of urgency. Welcome to Be Fab, Be You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BeFabBU.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes too. 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. How to prevent diabetes and obesity, part 3. How about increasing a sense of urgency? Today, we are going to continue to discuss Mary's case and her question about how to prevent obesity and diabetes. You are welcome to go back to episode 6 to be reminded of the details of the conversation I had with her. But today I really want to dive into one of the most important things related to changing our health and our life, period. And that is about the sense of urgency. Mary, when I asked her if there is any sense of urgency to change, she replied, nope, there is no sense of urgency, despite the fact that her aunts are obese and diabetic, and she has a certain fear that she is going to get there. And they started their obesity journey around Mary's age. In this case, is 47 years old. So here it is, folks. Today, I'm telling you, I want by the end of this podcast for you to have a better sense of urgency towards a better life, better fitness, better health, whatever betterment you want to do. And this gotta come from an inside feeling of urgency to change, because there is no project, there is nothing in your life that is meaningful for you to achieve unless there is a sense of urgency. So, I'm going to start really here with a few questions, and I want you to pause this whenever necessary to answer these questions, because it's going to make a lot more sense as we go about. So right now it's a simple math problem. I want you to subtract your age from the number 80. So in my case is 34. It's 80 minus 36, which is my age. I'm left with 34. That's the number. Okay, so write yours down on a piece of paper right now. Cool. Done that? Beautiful. Now, the next thing is I want you to think of 1 to 3 amazing experiences that you've had so far in your life. Really something that brings a smile on you, that brings like a excitement, that brings joy, whatever it is. I want you to think about 3 amazing experience. Go, stop right here and write those 3 things down. Hey, if it takes 5 minutes for you to do it, that's okay. I'll share 3 of mine. So 1 is a cage diving to see great white sharks. That is unbelievable. I'll never forget that. And I would love to do it again. Second is a 6-day Grand Canyon backpacking trip that I did for my 40th birthday. So that was 6 years ago. Again, unbelievable experience. I felt, well, we're not going to go diving about how I felt, those experiences that I had. This is about you. And the third one that I can share with you is bungee jumping. I love bungee jumping. I've done 10 times, and I will, some of these, especially my first and second time and a few others after that, I will never experience those I'll never forget those experiences because they're really amazing, a sense of freedom that I got on this. So, did you write yours down? So, you should have a number, 80 minus your age. You should have 3 amazing experiences you've experienced so far in your life. Cool? Isn't that awesome to actually feel? I want you to stop right here too. And I want you to acknowledge the feeling that you're having as you think about these experiences. And maybe it is priceless to you. Okay? So let's dive into this sense of urgency discussion here today. So if you have worked in an organization, you probably been led by a CEO or the owner or, partners of that company. And whenever, executives want to raise a sense of urgency because they need to change something in the company, what do? They're actually going to look into their personnel, right? They're going to see who they can actually raise this sense of urgency first, because there are a few folks in that organization that need to be by his side or her side to get the sense of urgency elevated, so the whole organization in the end has a sense of urgency to get something important accomplished. And that accomplishment is normally a change, because it takes a village to make significant changes, right? We all have done that. And we all have gone through changes in our lives. So what I want you to think right now here as well is this. When was the last, huge change that you had to make into your life? Okay, maybe not huge, maybe significant, right? What was it? Think about it. Maybe one of the things was for you to get healthy. And why did you change that, healthy habit? Well, maybe because you gain a lot of weight, maybe because you got sick. So there is a trigger there, right, that made you change. So the same thing is happening in that organization. There is something that is triggering that CEO to make changes. And we spoke about you being the CHO, the Chief Health Officer of your life, of your health. And I want you to think about this right now. So another question for you is there a situation that made you reevaluate your life? A lot of times that happens when we are laid off. We finally go to discover what truly makes us happy, do things that makes us happy. Well, take somebody, kick us out of the door to do that. Or how about time to improve relationships? Well, that sometimes happens when we lose a loved one. Even is a marriage that now is no longer there, the relationship is broken, or you actually lost somebody so important in your life and you wonder how else could you have spent time with that person, right? So here's the thing. When we think about our life and we think about changes, I think it's indispensable that we think about actually death. I know, sounds like dark, but no, not really. What I want us to do over here, and I want to help you, is to open your eyes and ears to life. Because when we think that we have a limited time in this earth over here, we are going to have to open our eyes and ears to what is around us. And it's going to make us also think about having uncomfortable conversations about important things in life. It's going to also make us ask uncomfortable questions, because who wants to think about death? The reality is, it's outside your control and my control, right? To a certain degree. Because, hey, if I pound drugs and alcohol and unhealthy foods all the time, well, that end of life is going to come sooner. Okay, so I have some sense of control. But in the end of the day, for the most part, it's outside our control when we're going to die. The other thing is, you know what? It happens to everybody. So don't worry about it. This is a conversation that I want you to have, okay, with yourself. And right here today, while you're listening to this podcast. And by the way, feel free to send me a note and share these things that I'm asking you, because it really brings more meaning. And today I'm very pumped about the discussion because I did have actually a group session that I discussed this, how to elevate a sense of urgency. So I'm bringing this to you, and it fits our conversation that we have with Mary and her concern about prevention of obesity and diabetes. And especially because she says, no, I don't have a sense of urgency. So it's going to be really hard for her to make changes, right? So what is really missing between the people who actually make change happen and others don't? So again, why do you think that there are some people you look around and they make changes happen in their lives and others do not? What is this missing ingredient? I'm here to tell you, is the sense of urgency. Because like I said, there is no project, there's nothing meaningful in life that you're going to accomplish unless you really want it that bad. So what is going to take, folks? What is going to take? Here's go. We go to Mary's case. Mary, and I'm not going to dive into the details today. We're going to have one more part to her because to her case, because I want to dive a little bit deeper. But we touched on to exercise, nutrition, eating habits, hydration, stress, toxicity, fun, and things like that. Let me tell you, there's basically one or two aspects of these that I would say that she's doing really great. There is, everything else, there is improvements that she can make. The thing is, as she told me, she's feeling comfortable with her life. She's able to get up in the morning, okay, have her coffee, have her sugary drinks to kind of supply her with this fake energy so she gets through her day. She goes home, she chills and have some fun with her dog and talk to her husband and her mom. And she goes to bed, has a poor sleeping habits. But she still wakes up in the morning and go and do this every day. There is no sense of urgency on her. She is comfortable. So my question to you is this, right? Let's go back to that question that I asked about 80 minus your age. What is that number? Mine is 34. And I also ask you, what are the 3 awesome things that you experience so far in your life? Now, how much would you pay 30, 40 years from now to actually have that day back and that experience again? It is probably freaking priceless. I want you to highlight, I'm mentioning this really to highlight the value of experience in relation to decay of life. Because here are the things, folks. Now, thinking about that math number that math calculation, 34. Actually, that 34 for me is this, and it's for you as well. I have practically, on average, 34 years left to do the things that I love. Now, I'm going to dive a little deeper over here. So, how many more times am I going to relive, or re-experience those things that I really enjoy? Like I mentioned, cage diving. I would like to go at least one more time in my life. Go back to the Grand Canyon and hike one or two more times because, 6 days was nothing. And bungee jumping, I would love to do that many, many more times. If I think about doing this one time a year, right? Once a year, am I going to do all those 3 things once a year? Probably not. I'm going to divide it up. But then there is other smaller things in a year that I look forward to it. And I would like you to write these things down too. So what are, a few things that you truly enjoy every year to do? And I'll tell you this. I love the spring and summer, okay? Because I'm an outdoor person. I love to be out and about. I love the sun. I like to do things. I like to stay active. This is my thing. So I love spring and summer every year. I love to enjoy, certain holidays. Although I spend most of my time, but I enjoy the Christmas spirit. Hey, I enjoy my birthday. I do whatever the heck I want to do. And I enjoyed having one vacation a year. And specifically, I love going to the beach. And one of my favorite spots is 5.5 hours from Atlanta drive. And it's Fort Walton Beach. And I insanely love going to that place and doing my runs. I call sunset run, sunrise run. I love it. I love seeing my dolphins. Man, this pumps me up. I want to do this every freaking year. Okay. So these are a few things that I love to do every year that I look forward to it. Now, if I think about, that I have, about give or take 34 times to do this, that is not a lot. And then stuff happens. Look at what happened last year in 2020, where a lot of people didn't go anywhere. I still went to my trip, let me tell you, and it was amazing, amazing. I went twice, actually. And so I want you to think the perspective. So this thinking about death and think about the things that you love, and think about how much you would pay to have these moments back is really to give a perspective to your time here. And let me tell you here, folks, why is this important to assess? Because likely go back to the things that you experience and you love to do. Likely they are related to your physical, emotional, and mental health. All those things that are mentioned, they're very physical to me. Bungee jumping, hiking, cage diving, and all that kind of stuff. I have to have my health. I have to have my physical health. I have to be sane to do those things. So go back and think about the things that you wrote down. Go back and think about the things that you love to do. In this group today, there's all kinds of answers. People love their family reunions to crack up and have a good time. A lot of them were like, memories related to when they first rock climbed, Another one was when they gave birth, to their child, when they experienced seeing the wife, or the son or the daughter was born. Others was one person said, I love the feeling of working out. It's a challenge to me. I feel so good, afterwards. And I consider every time I go to the gym to be, exciting because it's challenging to him. By the way, that's unusual kind of thing, but that is wonderful. Why? Because he loves the feeling afterwards. And he realizes that how much that impacts his day every time. Right? So this is what I want you to go back and think. What are those things that you want in life? The last thing that I want you to answer is, imagine now that you are 80 years old and you're looking back and you're reflecting on all your lost opportunities. I know, sounds great, but no, it's not. I want you to think back over here. You're 80 years old and all those things you didn't do. What kind of moments that you are not able to express your full potential, moments that you're not able to express your love because you are physically or mentally not well. This is what I want you to think about. And I bet that if you take a really good look into it, it's going to hurt because you missed out. You missed out. Do you want to miss out? No. I believe that you're listening to the podcast because you don't want to miss out on life. You don't want to go to your grave or to your having last breaths thinking about, I didn't do that because of this and that and that, or, whatever that is. So when we're talking about obesity and diabetes, why are you going to wait to improve your nutrition, your hydration, your eating habits, your movement routine, your sleep, things that are indispensable for you to have better health so you can accomplish and do these things that bring you joy? It is time to wake up. What is going to take for you? What is it? Have this tough conversation. Imagine, especially if you have kids, and your kids are going to have grandchildren, or maybe you're listening to this, you already have grandchildren. What kind of life you want to have between now and 80? Hey, if you go above 80, fantastic. But the reality is we don't know. Some of us are going to live longer, others shorter. But let's go with the average life expectancy. I need you to take this time to do this exercise. Have a serious conversation. Because the urgency here is no matter what your things that bring you joy, likely it's not one that is about sitting and in front of the couch or in front of the TV or laying down on bed doing nothing. These are not memories. You're not building memories doing this. Life is about building memories and with people who you care. And it's likely doing things with them. You want to feel vibrant to do those things with them. So grab that pen and paper. Go back to the beginning of this podcast. Answer those questions. Take the time to reflect. Because I can tell you night and day what to do for your nutrition, how much hydration you need to get, and blah, 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 blah. And if you don't have that sense of urgency, why you want to do this so bad? Hey, likely it's not going to happen. So wake up to that. And by the way, if you love what you hear over here, I would ask you to take a minute to go to iTunes and leave a rating for me. And, put down a few words with your feedback, because that's going to help the show get to more people, amazing people like you, people who are ready to change, people who actually need the inspiration to get change and transformation in their lives because they know they have a lot more to fulfill in life. It is about feeling fulfilled. And that requires, changes here and there because you want to invest in yourself. And you know what? You want to, as a CHO, you want to invest in your own company, and your company is your life. So are you ready to invest on that life? It's yours. Or is there changes that you need to make? Is there maybe you need to lay yourself off or parts of, of the circumstance that you need to say goodbye, need to introduce something new? So you are in charge. So I hope this gets you fired up, to get things moving. And all you need is to get moving towards the direction that is truly inspiring to you. And have a sense of urgency. Once you do that, you are going to move mountains, my friend. And if you need help with that, I'm here, because about 93% of people cannot do this alone. And a coach will give you the motivation, is spike, that flair, that zest. You still need to do the work though. But I would love to be part of your health and fitness and journey so we can together kind of celebrate your steps. And I'll see you next time. And thanks for listening. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Be Fab, Be You Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of Be Fab, Be You Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.